These are the 5 worst mistakes I made that almost killed my debut novel. 10 years of work, thousands of dollars, and each of these is incredibly costly. So here they are, in order of least harmful to most diabolical. And then a little added bonus decision at the end, which helped me save it. You won't want to miss that. Ahoy, I'm Matt, and welcome to the Zesty Adventure. This is episode 3 in the publishing journey of my debut sci-fi novel, coming this December. Number 5 is script, not story. Before writing this book, I'd spent years writing scripts. And so when I took the ideas that I had and turned them into a novel, I had absolutely no experience in what that entailed. And so the first draft that I wrote was written wrong. I literally went back to my first draft and reread it in preparation for this segment. And let me tell you, it was, oh boy, it's almost impossible to read. There's no internal dialogue. There's no consistent point of view. It almost killed the book very early on because I was struggling so much with how I was supposed to write. I think it really wasn't until my 4th or 5th draft of the book that it actually started to feel and read the way that it was supposed to. What's really funny about this is that I actually started developing the inverse in my script writing. And so I started getting feedback saying, hey, the pages that you've written here, they're kind of reading like a book. I was like, oh yes, that's right. These are 2 very separate skill sets. Number 4 is I jumped the gun. Very early on, I started getting other creatives to help me with some design work. Artwork and character art, there's nothing wrong with having inspiration for your work, but that's not where I was at. I was already 30 steps ahead of where I needed to be. All of those artwork and designs and things that I did so early on in the piece, before I'd really established the work that I was writing, I can't use them now. They don't fit the story anymore. And so while they're great for inspiration, it was a massive waste of money and time. What it did do, unfortunately, it actually pushed me away from writing the book. And it moved me into a different headspace, which is not where I needed to be. Doing all of that extra creative, it could have very well just burnt me out from the project. That could have happened. Thankfully it didn't, but it could have. Number 3, no wiki, no clue. I cannot stress to you how important I think a wiki is. By the time I realized I needed a wiki to cross-reference location, item, description, character names, political systems, organization techniques, all these things that are prevalent in a science fiction novel, it was just way too late. I'd already written multiple drafts. I had to stop writing and spend oodles of time manually sifting through the text line by line. It was shocking how poor of a job I did at keeping a wiki. It is so incredibly useful. You can just search, reference all of your invented materials at any time. Make a wiki. I started off just using a document. I think I moved to OneNote at one point, and then I found some wiki software. It almost killed the book not having it. Use a wiki. Number 2, imposter syndrome. Shall we get real for a moment? All the other things I've spoken about so far have all been writing technique, choices, creative positioning. This is something that actually did kill the writing process for me. I just stopped writing. I didn't have any belief or willpower to move the project forward. I was happy enough that I'd written something. I was proud that I'd come up with a story and characters and a world and had built this narrative structure all on my own. It's something that I really cherished for myself, but there was a long period of time where I thought, I'm just not good enough. I wasn't really holding myself on a bar comparison to anyone else. It was really just a self-imposed metric that I hadn't passed. I let the book sit there until I got to a point where I thought, why haven't I done anything with this? Why haven't I celebrated this thing that I crafted and made myself? I should. Why not? I really had to hold myself accountable to that goal. It wasn't until maybe a year ago that I decided to take the book out and get back to work, set some actual goals in my mind. It was at that point I started really engaging with other authors on YouTube, devouring the publishing process, getting to grips with an achievable goal. Set a date and go for it. So if this is something you're going through, if this is something you're thinking about, please believe me when I say I absolutely get it. And the flip side of that is you absolutely can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. The number one diabolical mistake that almost killed my novel is I queried it way too early. I cannot tell you how much of a mistake this was. This was very early on in the process. I am filled to the brim with cringe and shame. It was a mistake. I hadn't done a copy edit. I hadn't even done a polish edit. I hadn't done the work. I really actually benefited as a writer from going through that process. You gotta make sure the text is ready. You can't be sending chapters of work that just aren't formatted right. Don't be like me. Don't think that if you get your spelling mistakes, everything else is gonna be just fine and dandy. It's not gonna be fine and dandy. Oh, so much shame. So yeah, don't query too early. Don't be me. Don't be me. Polish the work. Polish the work. Don't be me. Which brings me to the bonus decision that saved it. Edits and input. Writing can be solitary work. Even when I was script writing and you're in writers' rooms, just so much of the time that you spend on the craft is done alone. So you can develop this feeling of, I need to do this on my own. You feel like you're going to have a big green tick against your name. The reality is, the more eyes and the more support you get for your work early, the better it will be. I said this a few weeks ago when I was talking about the copy editing process and how I had to separate my ego of, oh no, I've done bad, from someone saying, what do you mean here? And I think the point I made is salient. All of that feedback that I've been getting has given me the confidence and the tools in order to bring this book to this point in the publishing process. Without any of that, I'm stuck making the same 5 mistakes I was making before. All of those mistakes, the script format, jumping the gun, skipping the wiki and just making mistakes, the imposter syndrome, and querying too early, they all get negated by having someone trusted look at my writing. Find people you trust who want what you want. The best way to support me here is to subscribe. But if you want information on the book release, ARC copies, and any of that other publishing goodness, hop into our Discord. I'll see you next week where we're doing my title reveal. Love you, bye.